Hello and welcome. I'm Kay and I like to tell stories. Mostly they will be true stories, right? But from time to time, there might be a joke in there, a little bit of exaggeration. Just for your reference, so you understand a little bit about me, I became an adult in the mid-'80s. In this particular segment, I'm going to be talking about my observations of bullies in school that I observed as I was growing up. It's kind of a big thing. People like to talk about today. A lot of things have changed about it, though. You have groups of people just pounding on and sometimes killing a kid. People use it as a verb, so it's bullying. Just others, I don't know, just for the sheer fun of it. I guess that's why they do it. I want to start back as far as I can remember. Back in my early grade school, I went there from first to third grade. I didn't see a lot of it. It was just occasional, but when I did see it, sparked up pretty good and it was bad. So one day I'm out on the playground with the little playmates and we're about 6 to 8 years old. Usually the girls played separately from the boys. I don't know. It was just a thing then. You didn't usually do any sports or activities, physical things anyway, out on the playground. You didn't mix the sexes here. We were playing off to the side like we always did, and the boys were playing to the left of us. It was a broken schoolyard. There was one monitor, and she had to watch both sides. Could not do so successfully, right? As you can't. So while her head was turned, one of the boys walked over and slapped this little girl. Her name was Virginia. I remember her. And she was like the tiniest little one in our class, really in the entire school. She's really a girl, really little. Very nice girl and everything. And I don't know what prompted it. Nobody did, but we stood there just shocked as we were playing a second ago. And he called her over and just, slapped her. We're stunned. We did what we were supposed to do, which is go get the playground monitor. She came over and we all said, because we were witnesses, well, he slapped Virginia. She looked at him. He said, no, I didn't. And she just kind of shrugged. She's like, well, no, I didn't see it. So, well, okay then. So we just went back to playing, kind of scooted ourselves over closer to the door so that when recess was over, we could go back inside quickly. The next recess, I'm not even certain, it might have been the same day. Virginia, she didn't want to go outside, right? Because she didn't want to get slapped. I don't blame her. I was concerned too, as were all the other girls, and we don't even know what prompted it. And there was just no vindication because they just said, well, I didn't see it. It didn't happen. She didn't want to come outside. Now, that particular recess, the school administrators let her stay inside because we were wondering where she was. So we stayed playing, but more congregated closer to the door in case this guy was going to walk over and slap one of us, we could get in. And everything went okay. No slaps, nothing. But the next day, when it came time to go out, this would have been at lunch, I believe, because we were in eating first and then went past her. Virginia was crying and upset. They won't let me stay inside. And I couldn't understand why they wouldn't. Well, he slapped her, She kind of needs to be away from him. They just would not let her stay inside. So she's terrified. So she made it outside of the door before. She was up on the wall, just sitting there, so upset. I looked at her and I thought about the boy and I thought, well, I don't know. What is she supposed to do from then on? She is forced to go outside and get hit by whoever the hell feels like it, right? I thought there's only really one thing I could do. So I went across over to the boys' side. The girls were congregated at the wall trying to comfort Virginia. I went up to the boy. His name was Tim. I'm not going to say his last name because I think I do remember it. And I just kind of said his name. And when he walked over, I just cracked him right across the face. And I said, that is for Virginia. I'd let him know because you stood there stunned. Every time you hit her, I'm going to hit you. And after that, he made a few charges over the weeks and months after that. But with Virginia, we would keep her like in the middle behind us because we were on the edge of the playground and it would get farther and farther over to the grass just to try to avoid them, these guys. She would be behind us and we'd be playing, and then someone would notice, oh, they're coming. We'd all walk and go stand in front of Virginia so he couldn't hit her. But that's how our school year went. It wasn't very fun, but there's never going to be any true justice. So I learned that at a very young age. I guess second grade, either first, second, or third grade. Oh, I should mention that when I slapped him, he went over to get the playground monitor. He said, she slapped me. And everybody knew that I had. I mean, on that side of the playground. I stood there looking at my toes, trying to be as cute and adorable as I could. Say, no, I didn't. The playground monitor said the same thing. Oh, I didn't see it. Well, then it didn't happen. But I certainly assure you that I did hit it. If it works for him, it's going to work for me. And that's how I went. So that was for my earlier part of grade school. And then I get to the middle school portion where we moved out into another rinky-dink town. And we went to the school that had all of the kids from all over, rural area, pretty big school. I was in there, I would have been 9 because I was started in 4th grade. We would be playing on the playground, again, playground. All of a sudden, one time I was playing and one of the girls yelled, boy. And I couldn't understand, like, well, what's that? I looked, I saw some boys. I didn't think anything of it. The reason she's yelling boy is because the boys would lift up their skirts, and I was new to that school and didn't know it. That's exactly what happened. So they would target any girl who had a dress or a skirt, anything that they could just pull up. And they said, well, why didn't you run? I'm like, didn't know what was going to happen. No, you have to go. We all say, boy, whoever sees it, and everybody just run. This way they can't catch you. I'm like, this is a ridiculous way to play. But then I thought about how I had to play 1st through 3rd grade, where we're always watching. Someone's got to see, are they coming over to slap one of us? So it got suggested to me, because this went on day after day for the entire school year, I guess 5th grade. It's just one of those things you kind of just black out. They had told me, they said, well, what you need to do is wear shorts under your dress. Oh, okay. Well, I can do that. And that's what I had to do. So I'll skip forward to high school, probably mid-high school, maybe sophomore, junior year. And one day it occurred to me that, I haven't had my dress pulled up in a few years, couple years. Maybe I don't have to wear the shorts under them anymore. I don't know. So I took a chance, and then after that, I didn't have to. No trouble did the boys ever get into. No one did anything about that. We fended for ourselves out on the pretty big playground there. And so I want to go forward just a little bit till I get to sometime in the 4th grade, because I remember the class, but I can picture this. I'm sitting maybe in the middle row. I look up in horror to see this kid with the little scissors, the little rounded safety scissors, cutting the girl in front of him's little, we call them spaghetti straps, shirt. So it was only held up by the little thin straps. And I'll be damned if he didn't cut the second one. So her top is falling. We're only in 4th grade, so, we haven't developed yet. The teacher was over there in a heartbeat. She took the girl. She's crying because, we just cut her shirt, basically. It was just like a 70s thing that they did. She was smart enough to take enough slack for her to just tie a second knot. So where he severed it with the little scissors, she tied a second knot on both sides. She was able to continue to be dressed for that day. And I remember going up to the desk to put a paper, turn it in or something like that. And she was sitting there with the boy across from her in the chair. And she had just the most disgusted, I can't even speak kind of look at him as to how she felt about the situation. But in those days, things were right. If you were doing something like that, the teachers would intervene if they see it. Problem is, with the playground monitors, they don't see anything apparently. But yeah, that was one really bad incident. Now I want to move forward to junior high, where we're in the same school, just a different branch of it. And it's big. It's got a lot of kids. And I'm at my locker. And there's another girl. She's new. I hadn't seen her before. She's a couple, 3 lockers down. This girl I didn't even really like or know walked behind me, went to this girl, and informed her that she was ugly. And I turned around, I looked at her, and I looked at the bully, and I just said, well, she looks better than you do. Oh, the bully didn't really know how to respond to that because she's not intelligent enough. I just said, I don't know why you had to stop here today. Tell her she's ugly when you're uglier than she is. Why don't you just go to class? So she went on because she knew she's got nothing. She's got nothing more. I already called her out. She's got her 2 little lackeys on either side of her, and they don't know how to handle or respond to this. So I'm done with my locker, and I turn to face this new girl that she just got called ugly, right? And I said, don't just stand there or don't even believe what they say. She said, well, I mean, do you really think I'm not ugly? I'm like, you look better than she does. This, I think, helped raise her self-esteem. I see them doing this to a lot of people because at that time with junior high beginning, I'm seeing a lot more of this bullying. Just bullies everywhere, just bullying, saying stuff, you're minding your own business. And a lot of these kids, I liked them. There was really no good reason for them to say anything. They weren't doing anything. This is how it went for the 2 years that I was in junior high. So I get to high school, and of course, this continues on, but escalates. It's so bad. We had an entire wing of the high school, which actually was in another town, but close by. That's where the high school was. And it was the same school, but just in slightly different towns. I get in there, I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff. We had a wing devoted to they would call them special ed. Some were just had like reading problems. Some maybe had math or numbers problems. They were put into these special classes, which was on this particular wing. So some just needed help with maybe 1 subject or 2 subjects. But they kind of segregate. Well, not kind of. They did segregate them from us. Whenever the kids would come out of the doorway that led to that wing, oh, well, welcome to the bullying side of the school, because that's what it was. And I do want to explain that we had not only just the special ed, ones that just needed some help with 1 or 2 subjects, but we had actually Down syndrome children. We had, don't hate me, but they were actually retarded, which just means slower. It means they can function, but not at your pace. So they actually had an extra chromosome, some of them. They would even bully them. So they would go up to them. I wish I could say it only happened once. And just walk up to their face and go, duh, and say their name. And I would stop stunned. They did not just really do this. I mean, really, come on. We're talking about 9th through 12th grade people here, almost getting close to adults, to where they would feel the need to walk up and go, duh. And of course, these kids didn't know that they were making fun of them or supposed to be disparaging remarks here. Because if they tried that type of thing, they just didn't understand that they were being bullied. They didn't get it. They would just do the only thing left that they could do, which is, duh, right in their face. But it was more than once that I stopped, turned around and go, you really just did that. But what was really funny is that, again, it didn't phase the extra chromosome, or let's say the chromosome enriched children who actually behaved better than my classmates, which were so-called normal. They're not normal. That's not normal behavior. Why would you do that? So this is what I saw, is what I lived with every day, and it got worse year after high school year after high school year after high school year. That's it. That's what it was. So thank you so much for listening. These are very unpleasant memories, and this is difficult to speak about because I never really understood it then. I still really don't understand. I know that people are narcissists, But this thing where you should feel sorry for a bully, they have a tough life. No, they're making it rough for everybody else. They're just psychopaths or something. Something is wrong with their mind, because I would never do that. And most of us would never do that, but just certain people do it. And I can't figure out, why would you even take the time to go out of your way to and think something up to say? Because most of these girls, they weren't even clever. How the policy went was the boys bullied the other boys, the girls, yes, I'm using bully as a verb, and the girls bullied the other girls, but you didn't mix. Thank you for listening. I'll have some more stories in the future, true stories. I appreciate your time. You want to leave a like, go ahead. Got anything to say? Comments, that's great. You take care till next time. Bye.